Hi, I'm David Stroup, and I'm going to be teaching AP Physics Part 1 this year. So first off, I'd like to thank you for supporting your student in taking AP Physics. I'm a big believer in this class, and I'm a big believer in its value as college prep, which is really the most important thing, preparing the student for college. So let's talk a little bit about what AP Physics is. It is equivalent to a college freshman algebra-based physics course. So students taking it need to be self-motivated and at least partially self-directed. In particular, in distance learning, we're going to be using a bit of a flipped classroom, which means that they're going to have to go through notes and video lectures ahead of time so that they can be ready for class. And we will still find ways to do labs. The standards are based on the Next Generation Science Standards, which are available here, www.nextgenscience.org, or in the syllabus, of course. So one thing your student should already have done is to access the syllabus online. It goes into the standards, and in particular, the AP and College Board expectations and learning goals in great detail. So what does your student need? First of all, we use an online downloadable textbook as a PDF, OpenStax College Physics for AP courses. It is a terrific text. It is recognized by the College Board. It's produced by Rice University with various foundation support, including the National Science Foundation and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This should have a decent scientific calculator. It doesn't have to be one of the really expensive ones. Some way of taking notes, and we will be doing labs at home, which will be built around commonly available materials. So what is physics? It's what Isaac Newton called the system of the world, the basic operating system of how the world works. We'll start with the basic laws of motion from Galileo, and that leads into Isaac Newton and his three laws and the application of forces to solving problems. Gravity was Newton's other big idea. We'll look at gravity and how it leads to orbital motion. We'll study energy, and for example, conservation of energy, the relationship between potential energy and the kinetic energy of a projectile. We'll cover the basics of waves and sound and end with at least a brief introduction to electric charge and electric current. Let's take a look at the idea of synchronous and asynchronous time in this class. So synchronous days are live class time. Attendance is required in the video class sessions, and we'll do full group activities, discuss the material, look at demos and practice problems. Asynchronous is really self-directed time, so students should watch the notes videos that have been supplied and work on assigned projects, and they will always have things that they can work on during this time. So synchronous time and asynchronous time. Synchronous time in class, is not going to be used on lectures. Instead, I want students to watch the video lectures first and do readings so we can discuss the material and try practice problems instead. So online tools obviously are going to be very important in this class. Although we are using some other tools for special purposes, for example, Google for Google Docs, Mail, and YouTube, Canvas is going to be the most important tool and the central collecting point for all the work that students are going to be doing. This is the Canvas homepage for my class. All of these are clickable, including links to the syllabus, videos, the textbook, and collections of resources for the individual units that we are studying. The two most important links for students are probably Work to Do, which will take them to what Canvas calls modules. In other words, the individual units that we are doing. For example, down here, for each of these, there is an instruction and video page, which includes the video notes for them to watch, as well as additional videos and advice on things like textbook readings. And then also a plan for the week, which gives them some ideas of what they can be doing on any given day, especially important for the asynchronous days when I recommend what they can be studying and what projects they can be working on. And then the second one is meetings, which takes them to a grid schedule of their classes, what sort of day it is, synchronous, live class, or self-directed, and also gives them the link to follow to that particular class at that time. Other tools that I like to use include formatives, which allow me to see student work as it comes in, and video whiteboarding, which I use to explain concepts and sometimes derive equations or important descriptions. We're going to be using offline tools as well, those home labs. Students can use their phones as timers or for video analysis. I encourage them to get family members involved in some of these home labs, and one particular tool that I use is Remind, which sort of bridges the gap between online and offline and between home and school. The goal this year is for 100% of students to take the test. Everyone takes it, everyone works hard towards it. The test score ultimately is not important, but AP test prep is college prep. There is very good research that indicates that people who take an AP class and take the test, working towards that test and studying the whole year, do better at getting into the college of their first choice, staying in college, persisting from year to year, and earning a 4-year degree, whether or not they did well or passed the AP test. It's the experience of doing this and taking the test that is important for college prep. A little bit about that test. It is planned this year for May 5th. The current plan is for it to be in person, and it is going to be a full-length test whether or not it's in person. A bit more about the class homework. There are packets for every unit, so they almost always have something that they can be working on. Those are self-graded with an answer key, but showing your work gives us a retake ticket if the student does need a retake. Tests or quizzes are small but regular, every week, week and a half. They are open notes and open internet, so they require independent thinking. Labs, some will be smaller and will use online resources. Several of them will involve real-world projects and need to be turned in as papers. And I want to point out you can contact me at any time at dstroup@pps.net. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. And since you are also a part of Remind, you are included in that messaging group, you can also reach me through Remind. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to talking with you in the future.